Because time moves so slowly while I'm creating, particularly Sue's hair, I've come up with a little game called Don't Ask Me. See, she doesn't know it exists because it's all going on in my head. I invented it about 30 years ago when I first started seeing her. You see, the right side of my brain listens and does the work, but the left side just tries to ignore her. You see, in the 2 hours that I'm there, she mustn't ask me a single thing about what's going on in my life. She must only selfishly talk about herself and a precocious little brat of a son. So far, it's 43 visits to 0 in my favour. The hardest part of the game is to appear interested in what she's saying, but it isn't easy. I'll keep asking her questions about her favourite designer dress shop in Chigwell, yoga, her always ill sister, and of course her favourite pet subject, Lil Ronnie, named after Big Ronnie, her old man. God, they must have spent some sleepless nights trying to fight off originality. So I'm putting the 4s in for her highlights, and I thought, oh, know what, I'll give her a poke, verbally. So I mentioned that my daughter Fiore is thinking about emigrating to America and see if she turns the conversation back on herself. Sure enough, she did. As I finished the last word, she says to me, "Oh yeah, well me, Lil Ronnie and Big Ronnie, we're going to Disney this year." And on it went for the next 10 minutes. Blah yak, blah yak, blah yak. Until I managed to finally move the conversation onto something else, which obviously inevitably came back to her fascinating life. When you're with your hairdresser and you think you're having meaningful conversation, it may be that we're not really listening, as per Exhibit A. You see, there are times like today when a client will be rabbiting on, and inside I'll be singing, working out what shall I have for lunch? Or, at 6 o'clock tonight, shall I watch American Pickers on the History Channel or The Chase on ITV+1? But your boring and inconsequential lives are of no interest to me whatsoever. There have been times, though, when my little game has come back to haunt me like a wrecking ball on steroids. You see, whilst I might not be listening to you, I'll be using 3 stock words and 2 sounds that can be used to give either a positive or negative response to anything that you're saying. Yeah? No. Really? And as long as I'm watching your facial expressions and responding visually and verbally in the right places, particularly necessary when the hair dries on, then I don't need to be mentally present in the room. There was one occasion, though, when I was blow drying Sue's hair and I was responding with my famous 5 when she turned around and said, "You didn't hear what I just said, did ya?" I said, yeah, I did, but because of the noise of the hairdryer, I might have misheard you. So while Sue's highlights are taken, it's now the devil child, Little Ronnie's turn. I need danger, mate, to do this spot, little 3.5-year-old brat. He reluctantly gets up on a chair, which has now been built up with a couple of Buckhurst Hill's finest mirror ball style designer cushions. He then lets me put the gown on, which he promptly rips off, and then he starts to create. Sue, in her slow Essex drawl, is trying to pacify him, but with very little effect. "Oh, go on, Ronnie. Be a big boy for mummy, you." Even the offer Milky Bar buttons draws a blank. So I tell her, crouch down and put your arms on his legs and hold his hands at the same time. I mean, trying to cut an unwilling kid's hair is like trying to reel in a trawler load of fish with a paper mache rod and a net full of hope. But I don't stand for nonsense. Time is money, and money's what I'm here for. My catch will not get away. I've got his head pulled back against my stomach, and I'm trying my best not to slice through my fingers. I'm taking lumps of hair off, and although it'll be fine, This is no show-winning haircut. Tears are flooding down his face, and he's screaming and wriggling around like he's auditioning for the sequel to The Exorcist. Eventually, after some verbal calming from Sue and a lot of upper body workout from me, the ordeal ends. Until the next time. Thankfully, days like this are rare. But when they do happen, it makes me appreciate the fact that I never had to take my Dominic or my Fury to a hairdresser. I also appreciate the fact that I have the ability to have a two-way conversation, something that works in both directions. But for those clients that don't get it, yeah? Nah. Really? Ah.